What's up, guys? Tim Halston with DragBoss Garage. Welcome back to the channel. So it's been a while since I made a video on the pouring the Strip Dominator for the 354 Cleveland. Got back on it. I had some time and I just couldn't resist it. It's like once you get started, it's like being addicted. You just want to do a little bit more and then a little bit more. The next thing I know, I ended up doing the floor a little bit, not making much difference in it. You can see the parting line here because it kind of slopes downwards on each side. But I just kind of roughed up the surface and smoothed it up. George Dreesh, I think that's how you say your name. I talked to him a week or so ago. He told me to start using these little flapper wheels. These are 80 grit. Also these, I've never used these before. These are great. Great for getting in there and kind of polishing it up, so to speak, but with a rough 80 grit finish. I don't know if that's right, but I'm telling you, you can look at it now. I'll show you some better pictures. It looks really, really well. I think he also told me about getting these calipers. So I've been getting the calipers and trying to keep the ports the same width around. And I mean, there's a couple that are not perfect, and it's good enough for me. I mean, I don't think you're going to notice any difference at this point, as long as it's not something that's really obvious and blatantly an inch bigger. But no, there might be a couple millimeters on some of these when I go to check them. But I'll show you what it looks like. I appreciate you guys being here. I got to hook up with Dave Kofel, and we got to finish going to his tour in his museum. I got busy with work and everything with life. School started today, and I never got a chance to hook back up with Scott to get an appointment. So that's coming. Also, I appreciate you guys being there. Check it out. The live chat with Warren Johnson. What a character he is. I enjoyed that every minute of it. What else can I give you some updates on? The Cougar, that's a whole nother story I don't really want to get into right now, but we're working on Ackerman angles, if you know what that is. I've had some issues with that, so hopefully I can get that ironed out. You know, I'm just, I feel like I let you guys down on that. So, you know, when I tell you that, it's true. So I do feel bad, and I'm frustrated, but it's the way race cars are, so I just got to keep going. Been working on the Mustang, getting the carpet done on that, which is going really well. But let's check out the intake here. This is why I made this video, and tell me what you think. We had a hell of a rainstorm, like on Thursday, a couple days ago. I think we got over 8 inches of rain. That's what someone told me. You can see some water over there in the neighbor's yard. But we didn't get flooded, and everything survived, so there were some tornadoes going on too. Some of you guys might know about that. Stay safe. So here's the intake. I'm telling you, someone asked me about this table. So this is, I think I got this from Harbor Freight. It's actually a welding table. But I'll tell you, it works great for all kinds of things. And you can bolt the intake right to it. You know, you can tilt it down. I'll show you in a minute. But there's the intake now. So, like I said, I'm not changing the floor. I'm not porting it. I'm just kind of roughing the surface up with 80 grit. And that's what I've been doing with the ports themselves. Someone had mentioned to me about cleaning this up, making this not so sharp, because it was pretty sharp on both sides here. So I rounded it right off, and it's not sharp at all. They said it can actually break the fuel molecules out of the air-fuel mixture. I don't know. I don't know much about that. But I think it looks pretty good. It's pretty symmetrical. Let me stand up and we'll get a better view. Now remember, this was a spread bore intake, so all this part's gone where the spread bore is. Here, I kind of straightened it out, did it the best I could. And I'm telling you, like I said, it's kind of addictive once you start porting it, but I don't think I want to do this for a living, let alone do many more of these. But once you get the right tools, it's not that bad. I got this nice and smooth. This radius is smooth here. You can see inside. I really worked well here to get this lip gone on both sides. And you can see here, I might need a little bit work right here. But that's nice and smooth. There's no edge or ledge. So, not bad for my first attempt, I think. But we'll see if this thing picks up. It's got to pick up something. You know, it's not that terrible. And I still got to do the adapter for the 1050 Dominator. But I bet you it picks up 10 horsepower, maybe 15. I don't know. You guys comment and tell me. But like, see here with it on the table, when you flip it up, let me show you. You can get right in there. And like I said, I didn't make any of these any bigger. All I did is smooth them out. And the roof I worked on the most, which is fine because, you know, we know that the bottom area of these ports, on the heads at least, is a low velocity area. So I didn't want to make it any bigger. So the end ports are really kind of hard to get opened up. They really need a lot of work. You could just see the light coming through them. Not that great. But you could spend weeks and weeks and hours on this stuff when you're an amateur. And like I said, you can't see it from my house since it's that way, so I'll be okay with it. But yeah, I transitioned all this area here too. So this slides, the fuel mixtures go right in there. I'll tell you, it's a perfect day right here. You know, it's probably about 70 degrees, very mild breeze, cool. And with it standing like this, like I had said in a previous video, I could do this for hours. I mentioned, hey, Tim, you should be wearing hearing protection. You know what? I got some earphones, and I'm telling you, I put these earphones in with some tunes going. I'm telling you, I could sit here and work for hours, jamming away, grinding away. And someone asked what grinder I'm using. It's that Dotco that Darin Morgan had hooked me up with. I'm telling you, thing's a beautiful little grinder. And slow speed is key, I'll tell you. Well, you ain't gonna see much now, I'll tell you. With me doing this, and my black here, it's kind of hard. You've seen me port before. You've seen porting. It's not gonna be any new stellar revelation. So let me finish up with this and we'll get back to you. Stay tuned. All right, guys, I put it on the mock-up block here. So let's take a peek at it and see what it looks like. There's a look right down the plenum. I don't know. I like the way it looks, shiny. Question is it too big? Is it too small? Will it work? Well, we'll find out. But like I said, I didn't go crazy in the runners. All I did is rough them up a little bit. But definitely, transition's nice here. No lip whatsoever. I figured some of you guys might like to see this. That's all the porting material, the aluminum that I got from porting the Holley Strip Dominator. I bet you there's over a pound right there. Now, the next stage. So the next part of the porting stage is going to be this. I'm going to port this. This is a 4500 to 4150 adapter to try using a Dominator on this. Brent Likens used an adapter which I think he actually used this one, the high velocity heads, Super Sucker, which I love that, the way that looks. But I think he may have used that for the dyno test, but I'm not really sure. But in this case, I'm going to port this anyways to match. You can see there's quite a lip here. There's probably at least a 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 to a 1/4 of an inch around the whole thing. And I'm going to try to blend that in. When you look at this picture here, this is from Tristan Trickus, or Tricky from Australia, who's a head guy. I had him on as a live chat. So I'm going to kind of try to emulate this appearance. That'll be the next stage of porting. Now, here's where we're at. I've been working on Andrea's 69 Mustang. Here's the blow-proof bell housing by McLeod. It's pretty good shape for over 20 years old. So this is what the car ran, Andrea's 69 Mustang. There's the original clutch fork, throwout bearing, which actually makes no noise, but obviously, you know, I'm not going to take a chance running that. And I got to work on the clutch setup next. But there's the, I guess that's the Z-bar that the car ran, some adjustment rods. And here's the top loader here. So I may tear that down and just look at the bearings. I don't know much about top loaders, but it's a good time to learn, I guess. So I would like to try at least using that Mr. Gasket inline shifter because it works so well on that. Obviously, this reverse rod here, got to get rid of that. That threaded rod just is, it's a joke. But I'd like to get some nice rod ends for this and use it in the car at first before I switch it over to the Hurst Competition Plus, I think the shifter is. Let's go take a look at the Mustang. Here's the Mustang as she sits. This is the carpet I was working on, and I'll tell you, I've come to the realization that I'm not using this carpet. It's over 20 years old. It stinks, kind of. It's got some stains when I get it into the light, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to do it. I just want to start over fresh, so I'm going to buy new carpet. It's fairly cheap, and I think it's a good investment for this. But she's sitting here waiting for me to get moving on it. I was working on the seat mounts, and here's the original seat mount that the car came with that piece of 2x4 there. Obviously, I can't use that setup. It's just not safe, and there's no way it's going in there. So I'm getting these seat mounts. You can see them right here. Here's a picture of them. They're called Planted. And I think that's going to do well. I'll get rid of all this bracketry here and just mount the seat right to it. I think that'll be a good position. But I got the hood off it now. You saw Elena and I paint the hood scoop that's sitting up there, the Boss 429 scoop. I already had painted the engine compartment. I made a video on that, so that's all ready to go. The shock tower was already notched. Eric did that before I bought the car. So that looks pretty good. I started working on the wiring. I'd got the headlights to work. So now it's a matter of getting the power for the alternator and also the starting wires figured out. He had run aluminum fuel line. I think that's 3/8 right here is where it comes up. And there's an electric pump mounted in the back. I may even use that. I don't know. I just have to wait and see how it goes. But I've been collecting some interior pieces to finish that off. I'd already mocked that up with a roll bar. You saw that video. I have new front spoiler and rear spoiler for it, which will be put on when I get to that point. You can see more of the wires down here, which I'm going through to figure out what's what for parking lights. And I've been tagging them as I go along. But slow but sure. That's DragBoss Garage. You know, I get things done when I can. And I try to do quality work when I can and do it right the first time. So I appreciate guys that notice that. Especially, his name is, he's got a channel named Mopars or Everything. He's made some comments on my videos and I appreciate his opinion. He's a pretty colorful guy. He has his own YouTube channel. So the Cougar's sitting over there. I don't really want to talk about it. I'm kind of frustrated with it. I've learning with a chassis guy that I've had some issues with the Ackerman angle. So we're working on that. And it's just one of those things, when you get things done, you get things done. And I'm not going to rush safety. If I don't get out this year, I don't get out this year. I'm disappointed and I feel I let you guys down. So accept my apologies for that, but it is what it is. And when things get done, they get done. So I got plenty to do here, as you know. The 354 is sitting back there. Let's go take a look at it. So now that the Holley Strip Dominator is almost finished ported for it, once I get that adapter plate finished that we had just talked about, then what I'll do is I may try to fit this tunnel ram on here. The issue is this big distributor, which I'm not really a fan of these things, but I have another distributor that came with the Mustang I may use, and it's an old Excel, if that works with it. Or I may even try to incorporate this right angle Schwartz distributor, which is an offset distributor. It's great for tunnel rams, and that's why it was made. I think there's a little belt in here, but then you don't have to worry about clearance with it. Either way, I got a few intakes to test, including this one, and then some of the ones back here that I want to test. The funnel web, and also that's the first Ford Motorsport prototype intake. So I'd like to test that also. Again, we'll be testing 4150 and 4500 carbs and see how they do. I appreciate you guys staying tuned to DragBoss Garage, where you never know what you're going to see or learn.